Okay, welcome to this introduction for video 10 and news story part 2 for weekly wrap-ups. I call it part 2 because if you recall, we did a news story video about a month and a half ago, and we had some decent ones, but we had some other ones that had a lot of room for improvement. So before we get going in full swing and doing weekly wrap-ups every week, I want to make sure that we really nail this genre down, that everybody's really comfortable with putting together some solid news stories, news videos, so that our weekly wrap-ups look good. So I think one of the main things I want to just hammer in your heads is your story, planning your story out ahead of time, and thinking of your basics that you probably heard from back in elementary school. Whenever you're writing a story or a news story, who, what, when, where, why. I mean, it's just some of those 5 W's. You can always start with that. That's just key. So let's take a moment here and we'll watch a bit of a WLX video where you'll see very clearly how they're covering the who, what, when, where, why, and then also they have a nice professional kind of the way they put the story together.
Parents and teachers alike are refusing to stand idly by as one local district threatens to close 2 schools because of budget problems. Today, they take to the streets to educate neighbors and community members about the serious situation. News 10's Mika Norman tonight on why they think they can make a difference.
Parents and school staff are serious.
We're just going to go door to door. We've got 13 sections set up, and we're going to try to let everybody know what's going on.
The small group tackled the local neighborhoods near Elmwood Elementary School, trying to garner support and keep the school from closing.
I don't know if you're aware of what's going on in our district.
Yes, I am.
I think it's an injustice to close 2 elementary schools in our district when there are other options.
The Waverly School District needs to make a decision, and closing Elmwood Elementary is just one option. But concerned parents and school staff say this option would just do more harm than good.
My kids really love it at Elmwood. I like the smaller class sizes. I think it would be a hard transition for both.
Quote, "We understand a school closure is difficult and emotional for those involved. If the board decides to close Elmwood, then we are committed to making the transition to a quality Waverly school." In Delta Township, Megan Norman, News 10.
Okay, now that you watched a little bit of it, I'm just going to replay it a little bit here and notice the look of it now. We start with the anchor. She's providing a little bit of an introduction, and then the key thing is we go to a story, and the reporter is actually narrating the story, and she's kind of giving us the beginning of it, and then she's using her actors or really her real people to kind of fill in their spot along the way, and she's trying to weave it all together. The whole time we've got that nice lower third graphics. They're putting this News 10 up. We're going to just have our graphic up where we identify the people when they come on camera, so who they are. And then the reporter kind of weaves that story around, narrates it from time to time, and then throws in these sound bites. Now we're almost halfway through the story, and now is when we first see the reporter. Versus a lot of times, at least the past year with weekly wrap-ups, the reporters would tend to, always start the story with them talking, and a lot of the video is the reporter themselves walking around. Versus a professionally done news video is, the story is the people, not the reporter. So that's kind of where we want to go to. Definitely where we want to go to, and with lots of interesting little shots along the way, not just sitting there always with a reporter standing with a mic. We want to see stuff that kind of helps illustrate that story. So what you're going to want to do for this group video, this little practice video really, come up with a good story. Anything, it can be fictitious, it can be real, and you want to plan and plan and plan. So what you should start with is a simple little Microsoft Word, or get a piece of paper, but start with your who, what, when, where, whys. And just, kind of, they don't always follow that exact format, but it's a great place to start. So, for example, if you're going to do a story on MIA, French fries, missing in action, where are the French fries? So the who, well, the who is kind of, who are just the students of Eastern High School, cafeteria workers really, who's being affected by this story. The what, well, where are the French fries? It's kind of like the main point of the whole video, the whole story. When, it's occurring this whole school year. Where, Eastern, and then why, well, maybe we could start with some rumors, so you have some kids talking about what they think why they think the French fries are missing, and then of course eventually we're going to get to the facts, which we hope we're going to be able to get from the cafeteria workers, the principal, or someone else who's in the know. And then that kind of, the facts kind of lead us to the conclusion. Now I certainly wouldn't say that this is the order of the video. I mean, I would probably start the video with a where. You want to locate it at Eastern High School, and the when. You know, here we are in January and we haven't seen a French fry yet. And you know, this is where you can kind of be creative and you can think about, well, how are you going to tell this story, what kind of interesting shots. But you start with that, kind of get your basics down and what the whole story is about. Who are the key players and actors? What's the problem or the obstacle that you're reporting on? And hopefully you're going to be able to report a conclusion, or a solution, or a proposed solution that's going to happen. And then that's like your first step. And then your second step before you go shooting is you want to storyboard it out. And before you storyboard, of course, you may need to do a little research to kind of get a feel for what the answers of the story are, or where the story is going to lead you. So you may have to go around without the cameras and just talk to some people, find out some more information, start to develop that story, because with that, then you can create your storyboard and your outline, and you really should even have, depending on the story, but a lot of them you should really have almost a script from what you're going to do for your voiceover. I mean, that script will kind of develop as you shoot and as you go through, depending on what your witnesses and who you're interviewing, depending on what they say. That can change your script a little bit, of course. But you want to start with something in mind. Everything else, of course, you should all be really, all your production qualities, you're keeping your shot composition, not having a shaky camera, using your tripod, your lighting, your sound, all that stuff. We don't even need to talk about that anymore. Hopefully, that's just given. But for the news video, we want to do is really get you in the who, what, when, where, why, and get that flow of what a good story looks like. So, watch a couple more stories on WLX and just copy it. Just copy the way they do it, their style and everything, and you'll be guaranteed to have a pretty solid video afterwards. Then the last thing is, remember to watch the tutorial on how you can use the Pro Style lower third graphics. And it's a real quick video, but that'll give you a nice look for your graphics on the story. So I think that's it. You guys go to it. Don't waste time, but take the time that you need to put together a quality product. And then people who are, if you want to try to use this for the real weekly wrap up, don't do something fake. Think of a story that we could really use, because then we could use it for our next week's wrap up. And let me know if you have any questions.